Can you believe it? We're at part 8 of the ladder truck build. Part 8! Don't go away. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fat Guy Productions. I am Paul, coming to you, as always, from beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. Part 8. Wow. I mean, we're deep into this thing. And here's where it really gets fun, okay? Especially with the AMT kits. You know about the struggles, okay? I've been very clear about that. You know about the struggles. Well, here in part 8, we start to get to the fun, okay? The truck is mostly built, and now it's all about the details and the minutia that will really make this a spectacular build. We're gonna be doing stuff with bare metal foil. We're going to do some detail painting. We're going to start putting on bumpers and things like that. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it's really going to start to take shape. We're almost done with this build, so the quicker we get through part 8, the quicker we get to part 9. Let's get to work. All right, so we're going to start this episode out by making a lot of the minutia that I need to make outside of the kit. And I've already made a little box for hose out of some sheet styrene, and that's going to get glued on top of one of the ladder racks. Here, what I'm doing is I'm getting ready to make the vinyl engine cover. See, in Nevada, you know, it's insane hot, and the engine covers were made out of aluminum diamond plate, and they're sitting over the top of a hard-working diesel engine, and they would burn you. I mean, no fooling, they would tear you up. So the Clark County Fire Department made these insulated vinyl-covered pads. They weren't that much help, but, you know, hey, you took what you could get. It was like a insulated filled quilted vinyl pad, and then they attached it to the engine covers with some snaps, and that helped protect the firefighters from getting like 100th degree burns on these engine covers. So what I'm doing here is I'm running some Fimo through a pasta machine, and this Fimo is called a leather look or something like that. Once it's cured, it's supposed to look a little bit like leather. And this is the same stuff I used for the engine cover in the Engine 14 model build. So I've rolled out a sheet plenty big to make my engine cover. Now, this little wooden thing you see here, I made this with my Glowforge after taking some measurements off the model. And it's a stand-in to help me, one, mark the clay, and two, to put the engine cover over while I bake it so it will take the right shape. So what I'm doing here is I've got it just sitting on top of the flattened sheet of clay, and I'm just kind of pushing the edges in so it will mark the clay where I need to cut and fold it. And I'm just kind of rolling it off to get the side, and then I'll flip it back the other way, and I'll do the same on the other side. Once that's done, I can go ahead and take an X-Acto knife, and I can go ahead and cut away the scrap clay, and then using a little like a scoring tool, if you will, I will emboss like a diamond pattern in the surface of this, as well as the creases where this will fold. So I've got it marked so I can see what I'm doing, and now I'm just going to cut away the excess, and then we'll get this done. We'll get it draped over the little box, and then we'll throw it in the oven and let it cure.
Who took it? Who stole my new lightning fast, voice controlled, super awesome streaming device? Who took the Fire TV Cube?
Alexa, play Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery on Netflix.
So now I'm going to spend a little bit of time working on the ground ladders. They all need, well, not all of them, not the roof ladders, but all the extension ladders need halyards on them. And I made some little pulleys out of just some flat sheet styrene and some tube styrene, and I've attached them to a rung, and I'm just using some rigging cord and stretching it through the ladders and tying it off, and just putting it on to add some realism here. Now, one of the viewers, I forget who it was, but they had mentioned this, and I've seen this. There are guys out there who are actually making working extension ladders. Now, I don't need to go to that length. And in fact, I don't even really need to do this at all, because the kit comes with one side of the truck, the ladders are laying flat and in a covered compartment. The other side, they're hanging on a rack where you can see them. Well, I'm not doing that. I've got the covered thing on both sides, so you're never going to see any of these halyards ever again after this. But it's a detail I can't help myself from putting in. So basically, I'm just trying to run the halyards as close to real as I can. And I guess there's just some comfort in knowing I put the added detail in there, even though, like I said, I'm probably going to glue these ladders in place. Okay, so now back at the truck, before I start gluing on a bunch of accoutrements, I need to get bare metal foil out of the way. There is a piece of molding that goes around the upper edge of the front of the cab, and that is a chrome piece, so I need to coat that with bare metal foil, and then I also need to do the fronts of both fenders. So we're going to do that now before we get too deep in putting all the detail stuff on. It's something that I just have to fight my way around. Now, a couple things on bare metal foil. It's not as tricky as you might think it is. Yes, it takes a little bit of practice, but it can be done and it looks fantastic. And all I've done is cut a strip, and I'm just going to kind of run it around so it covers the entire piece of molding. And in this case, I'm being very, very careful not to put any of this over the decals, because you know what happened last time I got a sticky thing over the decals. We're not going to let that happen again. So anyhow, I'm just kind of running it around, smoothing it down, and then once I've got it down, I'm going to burnish it in with a Q-tip and really kind of rub it in and get it seated really well. Another trick is make sure you leave a tab at the end that you can grab and pull to remove the excess, okay? You don't want to have to be picking away at it trying to get a hold of something. So leave yourself a little working material so you can get it off. But anyhow, so I'm going to burnish this down really well all the way around with the Q-tip before I start to trim it. Now, the next tip I would give you is you need to have a brand new blade in your X-Acto. And don't make an excuse, oh, it's pretty new. No, you need a brand new blade, okay? Trust me, if you don't, you're going to have a hard time with this. A brand new blade will allow you to cut through this with just the lightest bit of pressure. It's going to make this go so much easier, okay? So get a brand new X-Acto blade in your knife. All right, so I've got it all burnished down, and basically I'm just going to follow the molding line with the knife with just the slightest bit of pressure. You'll get this to see what it takes to cut through this stuff. It doesn't take much. So just follow it around, take your time, and it should work out great. Now, I also want to boast a little bit. See this thing the truck is sitting on? I couldn't get a good look or a good angle of attack for a lot of the stuff I was doing to the truck, and I needed it to be higher. So I took some measurements of my work desk and where the truck is, and I made this box in my Glowforge and I've got it sitting on top of a little Lazy Susan type thing, so that the truck is at a better spot for me to work with it, and it's fabulous. It's the best thing ever. I'll be using this on a lot of model builds and probably even some of my die-cast builds. But anyhow, I've got it on top of there, and using the X-Acto, I'm just going to kind of run around the edge and score this tape ever so lightly, and then we can peel away the excess. Now, when you go to peel the excess away, keep a sharp pair of tweezers handy and keep your X-Acto handy, okay? That way, if you start to see it, okay, see, I'm peeling it off. If you start to see it catch anywhere, you can reach in with the X-Acto and you can just kind of clean up the cut so it will come off nicely. Or if it breaks, you can hook it with the tweezers. But look how nice that cut and came right off, okay? I barely cut into this tape, and it's working great. And I got to tell you, look at that. Look at the results that it gives. That is just so beautiful. And then after I get this peeled off, I'll take a Q-tip again and I'll burnish this down one more time to make sure that any edges that may have lifted are down and flat. And it just, it's such a great and effective way to do your trim on your vehicles, and looks amazing. Honestly, it's one of my favorite details of the builds, of the two fire truck builds, is this bare metal foil trim work. I just love the way it looks. So I'll be honest, this doesn't work as great for the fenders, okay? Because it's such a complex shape. It's what's called compound curves, where it's curving one way, then the other, and the foil just can't move that way. So you get little creases in it, and you can burnish most of them out. What I do is I cut the head off of the Q-tip, and I just use the little cardboard tube to burnish it all down and make it look as nice as possible. Then I do a little touch up to it with some Molotov chrome, but it just doesn't work as good. But for lack of anything better, this is the only game in town. So all I do is I cut a little square out. I make a template out of a piece of paper so I can trim the bare metal foil to fit around the body lines. And then I just kind of lay it in there, tack it down, trim it up, and burnish it down. It works for my purposes. I wish there was something better out there, but to my knowledge, this is the best option. Okay, so now I'm putting on the front steps and bumper, and I hate it. Okay, the steps and the extended bumper piece are part of the kit models by Dave, and I hate them. They don't fit well. There's no real clear, definitive way to put these on. They're just a real nightmare. And to make matters worse, the diamond plate scale does not match the diamond plate from the model kit. I really wish Models by Dave would change this, but it is what it is. I still love the kit. Don't get me wrong. I still recommend the kit. I just wish this was different. But I've fought through it. I've trimmed everything up the way I needed to get everything to work. I got the pieces on and painted, and now I'm just gluing on the kit front bumper onto the extension from the Models by Dave setup. This is all really fiddly and it's difficult, and I don't like this part. And once again, this is a prime example of why you may not want to put the ladder on yet. If I needed to, I could flip this upside down and work with it upside down. But anyhow, this has all of this fiddly stuff. These bumpers, the chrome trim, the fenders, all has to be first, okay? I got to get all of that on so that it's out of my way, and then I can start to put on all the little detail parts. So online, I bought some photo etched slam locks to replace the molded in ones on the cabinet doors. And it may have been nice to sand away the original slam locks so that these sat a little more flush, but that's kind of how I'm aligning everything. And so, I left them on, and just a little bit of CA, some very sharp tweezers, and then I'm just kind of pressing them in. And you can see right here why that little stand is so valuable to me, because the truck and everything is right at my eye line, okay? So I can just kind of get right in there, and I can see if everything's level and straight, and man, what a heaven sent. Anyhow, I'm going to work my way up one side, down the other, applying all the slam locks, and then we can go ahead and continue. So there were more details that the truck could use that required decals. The control panel on the pedestal, for example. I redrew the entire control panel based off of a real one using Adobe Illustrator. I redid the entire control panel and then shrunk it down and made a decal out of it. And that's what I'm doing here is I'm just putting that decal on here. I even made a little label tape because the image I was using to make this decal, I could see on the control pedestal somebody had put a tag on there that said, beware of ladder boxes or something like that. And so I made one of those too and stuck it on there. It's those little details that really add to things. I made a keep back 500 feet sticker for the rear. Other little warning stickers. I made decals for the ladder height. So put those on the ground ladders. Just the little things. And like I said before, it's those little details that maybe it doesn't really register in your head, and you go, "Oh, look at the great little control panel on the pedestal." You see it, and your brain puts it together in this whole big thing, and you may not be able to pick that one thing out, but it all works together, and it looks fantastic. Okay, so just like the first round of decals, these are still just water slides. Dip them in the water, slide them into position, blot them down, use a little setting solution to make them adhere and to conform to any body lines and whatnot. And all these little decals are really going to make the difference. It's like a decal for the license plate. I got an image of the actual license plate from truck 18, and I replicated that. And it's those little details that take your model over the top. So yeah, this is the kind of thing that you want to do. And so I made a new batch of decals. Just gonna go through and put them all on, and it's gonna look fantastic. Okay, so today's build went kind of fast, but I think we're right about at the point where I think we got two videos left. Okay, I think in the next episode we're gonna finish the build. We're gonna get all the bric-a-brac on. We're gonna get the lights and the air horns and the mirrors on. We're gonna mount the ladder and do all of that stuff. And then in the final video, we're gonna just do a close-up beauty version of the truck where we get to look at the truck front to top, back and forth, every different angle, and really get to see the finished product. So we're probably just looking at two more episodes. They'll be coming up in the next just couple weeks, and we can wrap this thing up. But anyhow, I think that's going to do it for today. All right, there you have it. The ladder truck is really looking so good. It's been worth all the work. And don't get me wrong, okay? Yeah, when you have a disaster like I had with the masking, it's a real buzzkill. It's a knife to the heart. But I love model building, and I'm still having a good time building this ladder truck. It's just a lot of fun for me. I really enjoy model building. I hope you enjoy this video. If you did, please give it a giant thumbs up, click subscribe, and don't forget to click the notification bell so you never miss one of my videos. As always, if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I'd love to hear from you, and I'd especially love to hear your thoughts on the build. What would you be doing different? What would you add in? What would you take away? Tell me what you think. I'd love to hear it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I hope the rest of your day is stupendous and wonderful. Until next time, this is Paul from Fat Guy Productions saying, be good.